Welcome back. Or if this is your first time joining us here on Narcissism Freedom, I want to gently welcome you into a space of clarity, compassion, and truth. Whether you found this video through quiet searching or divine timing, you are not here by accident. This channel was created as a sanctuary for those who have walked through the emotional wreckage of narcissistic abuse and are now seeking something deeper: freedom, healing, and most of all, peace. If you've spent years walking on eggshells, afraid to breathe too loud, afraid to speak your truth, afraid to simply exist without triggering chaos, then you already know how exhausting that life can be. That constant state of hypervigilance, anxiety, and emotional confusion isn't love. It isn't loyalty. It isn't normal. It's survival, and no one was meant to live in survival mode forever. When you reach a point where you can finally say, "No more walking on eggshells," you're not just setting boundaries with others. You're reclaiming your relationship with yourself. You're saying, "I deserve to live in an environment that supports my peace, not destroys it." For many survivors, that decision comes after years of enduring manipulation, guilt-tripping, love-bombing, silent treatment, and emotional whiplash. It's not a switch that flips easily. It's a sacred awakening, one that whispers to your soul, "You don't have to keep living this way." So often, narcissistic dynamics thrive in the space between confusion and control. The more unsure you are of yourself, the more they win. The more you second-guess your reality, the more they twist it to their benefit. The more you try to be perfect just to keep the peace, the more power you give away. But there comes a moment, a holy moment, where you decide you've had enough. And that's not weakness. That's courage. That's alignment. That's God pulling you out of the storm so you can see just how unnatural the chaos really was. God is not the author of confusion, but of peace. That scripture alone can become your compass. Peace isn't just a feeling, it's confirmation. If being around someone consistently robs you of clarity, rest, and joy, then you have every right to question the spiritual impact of that connection. Peace is not the absence of problems, but the presence of God in your decisions. It's when you no longer allow yourself to be emotionally hijacked by someone else's dysfunction. It's when drama no longer excites you. It's when your nervous system is finally allowed to exhale. Many of us were raised to believe that loyalty means endurance, that love means sacrifice, that silence means strength. But true healing teaches you that loyalty should never cost you your voice, that love should never deplete your soul, that silence can be violence when it allows toxic cycles to thrive. Saying no more drama doesn't mean you hate the person. It means you love yourself enough to stop justifying what's destroying you. And if you're walking away from the dysfunction, understand this. It doesn't make you bitter, it makes you free. When you finally get to that place of no longer reacting, no longer chasing closure, no longer entertaining the back and forth, something miraculous happens. You begin to feel peace, not the kind that's conditional on how someone treats you, but the kind that's rooted in your alignment with truth. It's quiet at first. It might even feel unfamiliar. Because when you've lived in chaos long enough, peace can feel like boredom. But don't mistake calm for emptiness. That silence is sacred. That space is healing you. One of the most powerful things you can do after narcissistic abuse is to stop normalizing the abnormal. Stop making excuses for behavior that left you confused, broken, or afraid. You don't have to shrink to keep someone else comfortable. You don't have to apologize for wanting a drama-free life. You're allowed to protect your peace without guilt. You're allowed to outgrow dysfunction, even if that means walking alone for a while. Because walking alone in truth will always feel better than walking on eggshells and lies. And yes, they may try to guilt you. They may accuse you of being cold, ungrateful, or selfish. That's just the manipulation talking. That's their fear of losing control. But the truth is, people who truly love you will celebrate your peace. They will honor your boundaries. They won't weaponize your healing. So if someone is making your peace feel like a betrayal, they were never for your healing to begin with. Healing is choosing peace, even when it's not popular. It's turning down the volume on everyone else's expectations so you can hear your own voice again. It's knowing that you're not responsible for someone else's emotions, reactions, or story about who you are. You're only responsible for walking in integrity, grounded in your truth. And if your truth says, "I'm done with drama," then trust that. If your soul says, "No more walking on eggshells," believe it. Because that still small voice is your lifeline back to yourself. Some people will only love you if you stay silent, compliant, or broken. But that's not real love. That's possession. That's performance. Real love holds space for your growth. It celebrates your evolution. And most importantly, it brings peace, not panic. So don't be afraid to rewrite the story. You don't owe anyone an explanation for choosing a life that doesn't drain you. You don't need permission to choose peace. You only need the courage to follow what God is already revealing to you. The truth is, peace is your birthright. Not the kind that comes from external validation, but the kind that arises when you're no longer compromising your spirit just to keep others comfortable. When you stop chasing people who never truly saw you. When you realize that God has always been protecting you, even when you didn't understand the loss. That's when you step into a deeper kind of freedom. That's when the spiritual fog lifts. That's when you remember who you were before you started dimming your light to survive someone else's darkness.
So breathe.
Let the drama go. Let the chaos unravel. Let the guilt fall away. Because you've done your part. You've fought to be seen. You've tried to be enough. And now, it's time to rest in the peace that only truth can bring. You don't have to fight anymore. You don't have to prove yourself anymore. The war is over the moment you choose peace over performance. And in that moment, you become untouchable. Not because you're cold, but because you're finally whole. If this message resonated with you today, know that you are not alone. This community was built to remind you that your voice matters, your peace matters, and your story matters. And if you feel led to support the growth and awareness of this channel, you'll find the details in the description below. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so we can continue reaching others who are ready to stop walking on eggshells and start walking in peace. You are worthy, you are loved, and you are free.